is left for the man who has lost it all? What comfort is there to offer the hero when those he loves are dead? Who can tell me? How in the world am I supposed to salvage this script? Huh? Did someone just knock? The only thing to knock on would be a set piece on the stage. Oh my gosh! I'm so happy to see you. What are you doing here? Your meeting ended earlier than you expected, so you decided to stop by? Oh, you are a gem. Okay, I get it. I'll release you for now. But seriously, it is so great to see you here. I know that the team and I are still technically in rehearsals, but even so, having you here for moral support means a lot. Oh, the rest of the crew isn't here yet. I always show up early to go over the script and edit lines, so I'm afraid there won't be much to see until a little later on. Unless, of course, you want to see me slowly lose my mind. Huh? Oh, I didn't say anything. Fine. What I said was there won't be much to see unless you like the idea of watching me slowly lose my mind. What's up? The script is what's up. No, wait, the script isn't up, it's down. In fact, this script is so far down, it's basically in purgatory. I need a break. Yeah, I'm okay. It's just, I want this play to go well. It's my first time writing and producing a play after all. But the script is being a nuisance and a half. No, the story isn't the problem. I actually have a reasonable amount of faith in this one. The problem is the intro, or rather, the poem that's supposed to go in place of the intro and is meant to give the audience a glimpse into the mind of the protagonist. It's also supposed to give a summary of the plot of the play itself without giving too much of anything away. And it's also meant to ask deeply philosophical questions without giving anyone a concrete answer. You're right. It is a lot, which is why it needs to be perfect and why I'm currently lying on the floor in defeat. You say I can do it, but as far as I can tell, the scoreboard reads Juliet 1, script 100 million. Yeah, those are pretty bleak scores, and if I had any sense at all, I'd give up and stop playwriting. Who says I can't give up on art and become a corporate stooge? I think I'd be a great normie. Okay, you're right. I wouldn't last a week. That still doesn't mean I shouldn't quit, though. You croon the idea I will survive, but this horrible poem in my hand says you're off key. Huh? You want to read it? That's it. You can help me. Help me with what? Oh, with this play piece, duh. I can't believe I didn't think of this before. You were always into the same things as me in school. You even managed to write a few pieces that made me cry, which is not too shabby if I may say so myself. And that was a long time ago. Give me a break. I know that beneath that suit and tie beats the heart of a bona fide theater kid, and no amount of time or money can change that. Oh, you're still not sure? Well, in that case, here. Read this and tell me what you think. Nuh-uh, no give backsies. You have been burdened with genius, and I shall be your muse. Groan all you want. I see you smiling over there, troublemaker. Now hurry up and make words. Our audience awaits. It would help if you know what the play's about. Well, it's about a medieval knight who gives his life defending his country, only to be revived 100 years later as a Doulahan. Yeah, it is pretty gruesome, but life doesn't pull any punches, so neither will I. Anyway, the knight goes around the kingdom trying to get his bearings. He has been dead for the last century after all. But as the knight goes around town, his heart gets broken as the loving queen he knew gave birth to horribly selfish descendants. These royal brats and those after them changed the kingdom from the peaceful utopia that it was into the oppressive and tyrannical regime it now is. And so our knight is left in a really tough spot. He gave his life for a kingdom that no longer exists. He sacrificed it all so that a group of bad people could hoard it all. And thus our hero was left thinking, was any of it even worth it? You think that's deep? Thank you. I've been working really hard on the actual script. Now all I need is for this poem to make sense. You have an idea? A disconnected third-person narration of images with pieces of the protagonist's thoughts thrown in? I'm not sure that I follow, but at this point I'd kiss a donkey's rear end if it meant moving forward. Sorry, I promise you're better than a donkey. Please, most beautiful and wonderful friend of mine, continue. A soul denied his destined death. The warrior is once again called to stand. Touch not the golden rays of heaven, nor seek solace in the gentle blanket of silver. Yours is the twilight. Outside it, your foot will find no purchase. I see a soul denied death shows that the subject of the poem is undead, but the golden rays of heaven and the gentle blanket of silver? Allusions to sunlight and moonlight. That's so. Wait, didn't you get that from some video game you played? You know the one, it's about a treasure hunter and an alchemy pirate and a thief who is said to be lost at sea? Yeah, I thought so. But hey, nobody said that borrowing someone else's genius for playwriting is legal, so I'm all for it. But what was that bit you wrote about Twilight? You put that in because it sounds cool? Well, I mean, it does, but it also makes it seem like our protagonist can only move during Twilight. No, don't change it. I actually really like it. The idea of a ghost that only moves about during Twilight is eerily fitting, especially when you consider that our protagonist is a hero drawn from the shadows of the kingdom's history. Of course, Twilight in reality only lasts for like, what, an hour? So if our play was more realistic, our hero wouldn't have enough time to do anything. But thankfully, none of that matters for a work of fiction where the name of the game is suspension of disbelief. Well, don't just stand there, keep going. I'm finally starting to get invested. The wind howls and groans as it races through the empty streets. The echoes of smiling children cast judgment on broken young men. Why do you kneel beneath earth and stone? Why do you spend your strength hunched over moldy bread and the shavings of copper coins? Is not our kingdom glorious? The soldier is left to wander. I see. So the wind is meant to convey emotion via the sound it's known to make as it moves, and the echoes of children bit is meant to compare and contrast the glory of the past with the bleakness of the present. That's really dark and strangely timely. Yeah, I'll try not to think about it too much. Just keep going. Tears of crimson will not flow from a body beyond the Styx, but strands of ruby still linger, sweetly in the gallery of my heart. That grand tapestry, blessed by emerald halos and adorned from above by a circlet of gold. Dearest Lucia, the seas I would brave to hear your siren song. One final time. May your sweetness grant succor to our sovereign in his rest. Huh? Oh, sorry, I was wondering how it might feel to have someone describe me like that. I'm fine. Just walk me through what you wrote down this time. So the hero's wandering is making him reflect on his time on the battlefield, and the lack of blood or crimson tears leaving his wounds makes him think of his beloved, who just so happens to have red hair, and who just so happens to be the queen, who is also very much married. No, I'm not condemning the trope. The tragic irony is, the heart wants what it wants, and we don't always get a say in it. I'm smiling because despite the overuse of the cliche, I still find it beautiful. And I especially like how the hero thinks of his queen as he wanders. It makes me think that she is the reason he leapt into battle in the first place. Okay, I'll focus. But you should know better than to bother an artsy girl when she's having a moment. Well, when you put it like that, I guess I'll have to choose work over wanderlust. But you better make it up to me later. Good. Now then. I'm ready. A swan that flees into eternity, leaving no feathers behind for her young, chains both child and children to the mud, where they are left to adopt the nature of frogs. Off with his head, bring me what is owed. Sell the widow's daughter for a barrel of wine. The poets of the past prove themselves liars, as toads become tyrants that turn kingdoms into swamps. So the queen is the swan in this analogy, and her kids, and their kids, being nothing like her, are the evil frogs. Okay, I get it now. I'm not gonna lie, I was seriously lost there. Thanks for explaining it to me, but I'm beginning to worry if this is okay. What I mean is it really okay for us to use flowery language and lofty imagery like this? What if it goes over everyone's head? If they don't get it the first time, they'll just have to come back and watch the play again? Aren't you the optimist? Oh, so now you're an artist? Get back to reading, you dork, before I lob an artistic shoe at you. My sword was freed from its sheath, but my countrymen are slain with negligence. I stood watch on the kingdom's walls, only for the threat to emerge from within. I cannot find my enemy. Fiends conceal themselves with my kingdom's colors. Damn this bitter masquerade, and 1,000 plagues on this child's farce. Show yourselves, cowards. Take up arms against me, my nemesis. I will see that you get your fill in steel ere the sun rises. You know, this sounds a lot like a war cry. It's a mournful cry? The hero lamenting the fact that he let his people down because he left them in such a sorry state and because he doesn't know who their enemies are anymore? Please tell me you have a way to end all of this on a good note. Or at least a less somber one. I know that I'm technically the one who wrote the play, which means I'm technically responsible for the tone of the intro, but if we give this to our viewers as is, I'm worried they'll spend the entire show crying. Okay, I'm trusting you. I would have words with the world, but my voice is lost in the tempest. A budding apple tree on a snow-capped peak, a lone snow blossom in a field during harvest. So am I to the soul set forth at this time, an oddity to be criticized. I traded my life for a dream, and woke up to a nightmare. All my endeavors are sand, they've slipped through the people's fingers. A soldier stands his ground. A king loves all men, and a pauper lives long enough to see both of them fall. In this light cast by death, the darkness of life has been lifted, and so hate finds ample kindling to burn inside me. My thoughts are heavy, they weigh on me like bars of iron, so I bow the head and stagger about in the dark, despising my every breath. Wait, that's it? I thought you said you would make things better. Set up for the climax later? I... you... I asked you to write for me so we could save the script from purgatory, not so you could write me the soliloquy of a guy who's already been there. Life is a portrait of suffering and our hero is fate's muse? You. Here's something, you know that? Oh no, I'm keeping it. In fact, I'm keeping all of it. I may make a tweak here or there for the sake of adding my own artistic flair in a few places, but tweaks aside. The piece you gave me today will be very much intact when our play debuts, and I really hope you'll be there to see it. You will? Promise? Okay, you said it. Don't be surprised if you have to quit your job to keep your promise to me. You don't think it'll be that serious? Well, a girl can hope. After all, if you quit that humdrum job, you can work full-time with me as my lovely assistant. I don't know. Boring labels like co-author and fellow playwright just don't have the same ring as lovely assistant. Wait, what are you doing? Oh, no, bestie, put the shoe down. Bestie? Bestie? Oh, now you've done it. Take this. You're not gonna get me this time.